What's going on, guys? So today we're going to talk about primer. A lot of people think, hey, it's just clean down, just spray your primer, blah, 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 sand it. You can do that, but it's not a wise idea. So we have a junk fender here from a Mustang that I had. Figured I'd use it on that. So this side was kind of lightly sanded, just quick sand, blah, blah, blah. This side is sanded a little more. So then I'm going to wipe this side off, because every time you do primer, you need to treat this as if you're painting the car. All of your steps before painting are just as important, if not more, than actually painting and clearing. So this side here, we're going to wax it with grease really, really good. This side here, we're just going to kind of dust it off. Make sure you always blow it off first, and then wax and grease remover it, and then et cetera, et cetera. So we'll get this side here cleaned up. Now, if you got a pump sprayer like this, you can use that. If not, just dump it on a rag, whatever. Put it in a spray bottle, whatever you got available. And if you're going to use some sort of rag, do not use the blue shop towels. Yes, I love those things and I have a bunch of them, but do not use them for applying wax and grease remover or anything like that. You always want to use a microfiber rag, because the blue shop towels will leave behind lint and dust. So this side we'll just kind of wipe it down and see what it is. And you can still see, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's still a little spot here and there, nothing crazy, but it's like, oh, primer will cover that, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to primer this and see how it goes, and then I'll give you a couple tips about how to mix your primer, things like that, in between coats, and we'll get back to it. All right, so if you've got regular 2K, one second here, so we're going to use some Nason 2K. This is just regular 2K urethane, nothing special, not a high build or anything like that. So if you're using that, all you do is mix it up. Now make sure you take and shake your can, or if you got a paint shaker, stick it in there, shake that, or stir it, whatever you got to do, and your hardener. Make sure you shake that as well, or whatever, because everything settles over time. You always want everything mixed up and evenly distributed through whenever you're mixing it. So if you're using like a 2K high build or something like that, so your mixing cup will have, let's see, 10%, 20%. So if you're using a 2K high build, I would put it at 10% reducer and then see how it sprays. And if it's still a little too thick, go to 20%. Now the second thing is you gotta have a really, really good needle for your primer gun. Now 1.8, 2.0 is the only sizes that I use for any primers, that's it. Now sealers maybe a 1.5, 1.4, depending on what it is. But when it comes to 2Ks, it's always a 1.8 or 2.0. 2.5 is just way too big unless you're doing like slick sand or something like that, but definitely 1.8 or 2.0. So let's get an air hose here and get something sprayed on here and turn these fans on. All right, so we got our primer mixed up. Now, I was using a different gun for primer, but since that one has been given out in the giveaway, back to my 3M gun. It's got a 2.0 head on it. So the first coat. Always on my first coat, I put an even coat. I don't try to build it real high or anything. You always want to spray it even, because if you spray heavy here, then you spray lighter up here, that's going to build like that. So then you got to make sure you block it out right. So the first coat, I always just put an even coat. Nothing crazy, just nice, smooth, just like I'm spraying clear. That one's done. Then we'll come over to this side. This was the one that we didn't wax and grease remover really well or anything like that. And immediately, I can see the differences. You can see all the dust and the dirt. Let's see if I can get the camera. All right, let's see. So this one's real clean. Looks really good. Come over here to this one, and you can start seeing all the little bits and pieces of dust and dirt and everything like that. Now, I know you're thinking, well, it's just primer, what's the big deal? Blah, blah, blah. No, I mean, you're right, it is primer, you're gonna sand it, but whenever you spray like this and you don't clean it efficiently, you're leaving things like dirt, whatever other contaminants might be under there, and it's not going to adhere properly. So you might have a spot that after you've painted the car, it goes out and sits in the sun, it looks great, you come back the next day, and there'll be a spot that's grazed or blistered or something, and it could be because there was something trapped underneath the primer in the beginning, and once it heated up, it pushed that straight up to the surface with everything else. So you always want to treat everything just like it is the final product. Always, no matter what. So we'll let that dry. So I usually let my primer dry or tack off for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes or so. That way everything's kind of gassed out, and then when you put your next layer on, it is building that layer instead of melting into it. You always want to build. That's what the job of primer is to build. And if you've got like rock chips or something like that, I mean, you can try and fill those with primer, but just don't do it. Because that means you didn't sand in the inside of that rock chip, so there's nothing for that primer to stick to. Same way with if you try to paint over them. If you try to stick Bondo in there and swipe them, the same thing. The Bondo has nothing to stick to inside of that rock chip because you didn't sand inside of it. So always try to sand everything good, 180. But I sand my primer every single time if I'm in primary area, I sand with 180. Not 320, not anything else, it's always 180. I want the maximum fight for that stuff to stick to. You can do it with 320, don't get me wrong, but I like 180. And always, and I mean always, so if we're gonna sand this area right here, sands 3-4 inches past where you're gonna prime. So I would sand this whole area with 180, and then I'll come back and then I'll sand with 320, about 3 to 4 inches around the outside of it. And I do that so that way when I primer, whatever overspray I get past where I want it to be, still has something to stick to. Because if you don't, and you try and sand it down, you'll see little shiny marks. Those shiny marks are where the primer hasn't adhered. So then you'll be like, oh, okay, I got it, and start painting your car, and then it'll start lifting real bad. There'll be spots that wrinkle and lift. That's because the primer, the base, whatever was underneath of that, didn't have anything to stick to, and your reducers and stuff are hot. So it starts lifting that off the original panel. So always make sure that everything is sanded really good, it's cleaned down really good. You should have no problems ever, and you should get a great finish. But we'll put on a second coat anyway. Now my second coat, I like to put just a little bit heavier. Now it is like 90 degrees here today, so this is flashing off like crazy fast. This is just a test panel, it's nothing I'm gonna do, so I'm not really gonna sit here and wait the whole 15 minutes. All right, the second coat, now I'll put it on pretty heavy. Still, I want it to be uniform. Everything to be same through the whole thing. And that has turned out, I mean, perfect. Now, sometimes you're like, oh, it's got a little bit of orange peel to it, and that's where the reducer comes in. So if it's really that thick, you need to reduce it down some so it can flow just a little bit. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit more pain in the butt to sand. And as always, you can still see all the dust spots on this side compared to this side. This side is clean, there's nothing in it, so it looks great. Now, so you're thinking, all right, well, we got a prime, so then what do we do? All right, so we'll let that dry up, and then I'll show you what I do after I've done primering, before it dries. Before it dries, I'll show you. All right, so this is what I use. So before this dries, while it's still open, it's still wet, I take this and I spray on it. Just kind of mist it. I'm not trying to paint it. I just want to make sure it's kind of covered. About like that. That's good. Now this is just a Rust-Oleum aerosol flat black paint. That's all it is. You can get dollar store, whatever. Do not go buy a $9 can. You can buy the guide coat like powder you can put on, this kind of thing, but you can't do it while it's wet. You have to wait until it dries up. I like to do it when it's wet, so that way it soaks into it and it doesn't just scrape off whatever it's there. I have to sand it out. Now it has to be flat black. You cannot use a gloss or semi. It has to be flat. Otherwise, it's going to do nothing but clog up your sandpapers. So make sure it's flat black. And if you're using something else like let's say you was using black primer, then just get you some flat white, something like that, you know, just the opposite of what it is, so that way when you sand it, you can see all the little sand scratches or any defects, anything in there, you want to be able to see them. But other than that, guys, that is basically it. I mean, it's pretty simple. Just make sure everything's prepped really good. Make sure that your reducers or your primers, if they need reducer put in them, make sure you use that. Make sure you have an adequate paint gun, 1820. You can do it with something less, but you're not going to get what you need out of it. So make sure you have a good, decent sized needle in your paint gun. Make sure you use this stuff. Make sure you clean this panel, and I mean clean it. And other than that, guys, you'll get a fantastic primer job every time. Guaranteed it's going to stick. Now, do you want to use direct to metal primers, you know what I mean? Like, so if you had some bare metal here, they do make some direct to metal primers you can just spray right on there, but it's best to get you an aerosol can of some etching primer, spray on, let it tack off, and then go over top of it with your primer, so that way it's guaranteed to stick to the metal. But that's kind of like what I like to do, even though I have some primers that are direct metal. But other than that, guys, that's it to the primer. Now, if you want to see some other things about primering or some different steps on something else, throw it in the comments, and we'll come out here. I got a bunch of extra junk parts. We can do anything on any of them, so just let me know what you want to do. We'll make it happen. I mean, there's so many ideas, just like I thought about the live sessions I might start doing, so that way we can do stuff like this, and if you have a question, I can do it or show you whatever. But anyway, so hey, also 80% of you guys that watch my videos aren't subscribed. What's going on here? Just hit that button, it's free. No, I'm just playing. If you don't want to, that's cool, but if you stop by, I appreciate it. I appreciate you watching it. I appreciate everybody's comments, love everybody out there, so thank you for that anyway. But I would like to get to do some bigger things in the future. You know, YouTube is not paying me any money right now, so you know, I'm just doing all this with my own time, my own money, even though I got to do some of it anyway. Other than that, guys, that's it. I appreciate everybody commenting. We still haven't got the winner of the last giveaway to get the information out. I haven't reached out to them, you know, got anything back. So hopefully somebody come forward soon and claim what they won. But if not, then I'm not sure what we're going to do on that. And probably one day this week I'll throw in the next video, and then that'll be what we're going to give away then. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.